Today's is a really, really good one. Very interesting mod. It's going to be linked in the description. But the map is going to look the same. There's no changes to the map, but there's definitely some changes over here. You can see lots of blue. And that's because Austria is the shogun. So we have the Shogunate of Germany. And of course, if the Shogunate is in Germany, that means that we have the Holy Japanese Empire, because why wouldn't we? It's going to be a really fun video. I certainly hope that you enjoy it. If you do, make sure you leave a like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so we can get to that 50,000 mark and get that mega campaign rolling. Also, patrons and channel members get early access to all the videos on this channel, as well as exclusive roles and chats in the Discord. So if that sounds cool to you and you want to support, check out the links in the description or the join button below the video. Sorry, y'all, you're going to have to go without my ugly mug in this one. We had a photo shoot for my daughter yesterday for her first birthday, and I didn't feel like setting up my camera. So we're going to go it the old-fashioned way, no face cam this video. Now this looks good because this is how it should be, in my opinion, at least. I think that this is peak Germany, and this is not just a revoke. This is a shogunate of Germany. King Hans I von Reckburg here is the leader of the shogunate, which means they can also have samurai, which is mildly hilarious, and they also have access to the shogun government mechanics, which is pretty cool. And that means, of course, we have our holy Japanese empire. Shinto is the dominant faith, of course, though I'm not so sure how the electors feel about Yamato over here, the emperor. Might not get reelected, though. If they all just vote for themselves, they will get elected. That's how that works. And keep in mind, Austria still has their vanilla emperor mission tree, which is it's pretty good. It gives them quite a bit of rewards. A lot of it is focused on the HRE, but I think that the electors and stuff, that was all swapped out for just like, you know, anybody. So it looks like they're probably going to be able to at least make some progress here. They've already got a couple of missions, and I'm sure they'll do some more eventually. Not by sail, but by war. Brandenburg took Neumark, and it looks like Lunenburg over here is getting beat up on by some people. So we're probably going to see a little bit of border changes, because remember, the daimyos can attack each other without worrying about the shogun. So we'll probably see border changes within the HRE. Well, definitely safe to say there is some action early on. Burgundy is getting absolutely dogpiled. France attacked. And then the Shogun, of course, with all of their friends attacked. They are allied to Hungary, so it's a two-front war for Austria, but I don't think that really matters considering the fact that all of these little nations will be joining. We do have a disloyal Milan and Saxony, but aside from that, not even that close for basically any of them. Economically, I would say that Austria is doing just as good, if not better, than they would in vanilla. So that's pretty cool. They're also allied to England and Castile, so their Diplo situation is it's pretty safe to say it's good. It's good. They're pretty strong. And meanwhile, we have the HJE over here doing as the HJE does. They do have religious peace, which I don't know if that was caused by an event or something. But all the electors are still voting for themselves. To be honest with you, I think that nobody is currently eligible, and that is what's causing the issue. So I think that just means that Yamato will be the emperor. But the fact that there is literally zero Imperial authority malices means that they're probably going to be able to push through it. And the AI always goes down decentralization. So realistically, the Isles of Japan will be incredibly powerful if they do it right. So I'm curious what this is going to look like in the long term for sure. Well, there's definitely a bit of border changes going on over here. Clearly, Prague it's been conquered here, and they're not a daimyo anymore. So I don't know what happened there. I assume that Austria got mad because they decided to break free, if I had to guess. Well, regardless, they've moved up. They annexed a bunch of land over here from Thuringia as well as Saxony, and then lost Bohemia and Moravia, at least most of it, to Austria. So, seen better days. A little bit of a Czech migration, if you will. Hey, yo, what's going on with the Ottomans here? That's like most of their army right there, losing a battle. I didn't do anything with the Ottomans. This has nothing to do with me. They are getting kind of like dumpstered here. I don't know what's going on. It looks like they attacked Skanderbro, who has taken Kosovo for Albania, who's allied to Aragon. So yeah, that's pretty weird, man. Just kidding. The AI is a bunch of cowards, and Aragon and Venice both peaced out, and now it's just Naples and Albania versus the Ottomans. So probably going to end up being an Ottomans dub. You know how it is. They get like way too much manpower early game for that to be a big one. And now it is Venice's time to do a little bit of extra war, this time for Byzantium or Athens. So that's a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. Can't be saying I'm surprised to see Byzantium lose. They did get a very cool update in 1.36, but yeah, it is what it is. I do love to see a cheeky warning for France by Austria. Safe to say Austria is, you know, probably a little bit more stronger than France, if I had to guess. I probably should have shown this before I even unpaused, but yeah, Austria is the #1 great power, actually ahead of Ming, even with the institution. So that is pretty nuts. Almost triple the development of England. So yeah, no surprises, but I'm definitely curious what it's going to look like in the long term, because just because they have the Shogunate doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do well with it. But the fact that they're not isolated on the Isles, maybe it's going to be a good thing and help them out. Give them some room to expand, so to speak. Well, lads, it seems like the Pope is up to some shenanigans, conquering tons of land in the south instead of Naples annexing them, which I feel like has happened more often than not. The Pope has annexed a lot of Naples, but you're going to see some white occupation lines, and that is because the Pope man is allied to Hungary, who is, yeah, they're not doing so good. Okay, well, it looks like the war with Hungary was actually a PU war. So they are now a personal union of Austria, which is pretty cool. They've also gone ahead and conquered some land from Poland over here, and I guess warned the Ottomans. So I think that will hurt them, at least hurt them when it comes to going this way. Down here, probably not so much, but this might be an interesting dynamic. Meanwhile, over by the Holy Japanese Empire, we have Dai Viet and Ayutthaya both attacking the Ming, if you can believe that, for some claims. These guys are attacking this tributary, and these guys are just attacking them outright. So hopefully we're going to see some interesting borders. The Ming has no mandate, so probably not going to be too good for them. They did take quite a bit of land from Oirat up here. Last video, I saw Ming do really well. This video, I'm not so sure. I mean, they didn't really collapse instantly due to the mandate. So definitely going to need to keep our eyes on over here, because I know that that's kind of one of those little mini games that you have to play with each patch. Like, oh, is the Ming going to collapse or is the Ming going to survive? It's really hard to tell sometimes. Not really sure what happened here. This is a unification war. So Lithuania must have broken free, probably by rebels, if I had to guess. Possibly when Poland was getting their, getting truck sticked by Austria. But yeah, definitely a little bit of a weakness going on over here. I'm sure that's only going to be a good thing for a certain empire. A certain empire, which, might I add, is growing quite a bit. It's looking very good. We have the Austrian Low Countries, Austria over here. Volgas looking good, I guess. And then they've also taken some land down here, as well as over in Italy, even have Corsica. So I don't know. It looks like they're starting to integrate some of their subjects. Like Brandenburg was just integrated, I think. So that would be really cool, because I'm pretty sure they'll form Germany. And if we had a Germany formed by a shogunate, that would be just absolutely peak memes. And my friends, I regret to inform you that this is the Imperial map mode. And the Holy Empire of Japan has been dismantled. So that answers the question about the electors not being eligible. Also, yeah, Ming definitely is collapsing this time around. I was concerned about it. I didn't know what was going to happen. Saw them in a couple of wars, low mandate. Not super surprising, but maybe we'll see something interesting come out of the rubble. Who knows? Ah, yes, the Austrian-Perugian War of Honor. Seems that Perugia had insulted Austria, and Austria took that personally and called in everybody and their brother to beat the tar out of like Venice and one province minor in Italy. But I'm definitely for sure now that they are integrating various small nations around the empire. You can see that a couple of these smaller guys have all been integrated, and I definitely think that that's what's going on. Genoa also has been integrated, and that's why Austria is getting some land over here. So don't count them out. The Ottomans are probably gonna not do much. Persia has formed, which I always love to see that, especially in the new patch. Very much excited to see a Persia forming. Ming has gotten even worse, and the colonial game has kicked off with Castile in Brazil, as well as down here in Argentina, Portugal over in the Caribbean, Castile up here in Bermuda, and England up here in Newfoundland and Quebec. No reformation yet in 1507, but definitely going to be happening soon. A lot of the nations getting annexed by Austria, definitely hurting the number of tags getting events, which is going to raise that reform desire. Oh my gosh, and the borders just keep on getting worse. We have a Pomerania that's formed, which is pretty cool. Friesland has conquered the Dutch, which is very cool. We have some weird borders hooking around the Carpathians. The Ottomans, meanwhile, have pushed up here into Lithuanian lands, and it looks like Persia is is going down. Sadly, Ottomans can only expand one way, and it's not going to be over this way. So Transoxiana and the Ottomans splitting up Persia. We do also have Protestantism, as well as one Orthodox province because reasons. But we have Protestantism with a center up here, a center down here, and I believe a center over here in Thuringia. So it looks like it's probably going to be mostly up in the north, which is, pretty typical. But we'll see how things go with that. Lots more Catholic, probably going to stay Catholic. They are subjects as well. So if they do convert, Austria can just, force convert them via the subject interaction. And now it's France's time, this time getting dumpstered by the tripartite pact here of Austria, England, well, Great Britain, and Spain, which is formed as well. So mildly terrifying. Hopefully they don't stay allied for too long. I'd like to see a little bit of a clash between them, but we'll figure that out as time goes on. I'm sure they probably will break up eventually. Ottomans are continuing to grow all the way down into Basra and Damascus. So Ottomans looking good, despite the fact that Austria is looking even better with some interesting subjects up here, safe to say. Also very cool to see a Manchu that's formed. I always love seeing that. Very cool. And the colonial game is just about what you would expect, though. We do have a British Columbia this time, and it looks like Mexico is going to the Portuguese, as well as Louisiana. I do think that Austria is forcing the religion on all of their subjects because there's a bunch of provinces that have been converted, but nobody actually follows the religion except for Sweden and Denmark, who are, not in the empire, of course. And so 100 years in, Austria has well over doubled their development, almost double their ally of Spain, which is it's Spain, dude. Then Russia, which has formed, of course, with the Ottomans down in the 4th spot, but very competitive all the way up for even the 2nd or 3rd spot. We also then have Great Britain, Portugal, France, and then Malwa, nice Indian blob, in the 8th spot. And I was going to say that we have some French colonial stuff going on, but not really sure for how long, to be honest. Oh yeah. The integrations continue. Austria looking incredibly good. Also beating up on the Eolit, whatever that is, Macristan, and it looks like the Ottomans are getting gobbled up, or at least occupied. Hard to say how much they're going to lose, but we're not quite to absolutism yet. It's like 1570, so we'll see. However, we do have some interesting stuff going on over here. For some reason, we have Persian land over here. I don't actually know how that happened. They have land over here, and here. But aside from that, we have Delhi and Vijay are the two major blobs, with Bengal pushed up into Tibet and Nepal, which is super funny. I love that. China's consolidated a bit. I would say there's like the 3 major tags over here, and then some border gore up in this region, and Manchu with a good name placement. It would also appear that the Spanish have arrived here in the upside down land, and the French ended up turning it around and conquered this Sahel region. So good on them. Yeah, not too bad. They took quite a bit of land over here in the Balkans. Not anything else over here, but Ottoman Ruthenia is pretty funny to see, as well as a couple of random Polish provinces and Lithuanian provinces. Austria's also got their eyes set on Scandinavia. They're pushing Sweden up there, and then Russia's coming in the other side. A little bit of a winter war on our hands. Though you have to imagine that this border tension with Spain and Austria has to be getting worse. It has to be. Oh, baby. Now we're cooking with gas. Yeah, Germany's here. No surprise. It was definitely only a matter of time, but it's like 1620, give or take. Absolutism has just begun, and Germany is about to start rampaging, if I had to guess. And meanwhile, out east, it is it's literally just as bad as it's ever been. Persia, absolutely on life support, but still there. So you got to give them credit for that. And the colonial game in Africa is definitely heating up as well. The scramble of Africa, if you will, with Spain, Portugal, and Britain, as well as France, all with a sizable participation going on. South America, mostly Spanish with a little bit of British. And North America, mostly Portuguese with a little bit of British over here. And then the left coast is all speaking of Spanish. Very much safe to say that this is completely a Catholic-dominated game, except for Russia, of course. Russia is always dominant, though that's not really surprising. But I am very much looking forward to seeing what Germany is capable of doing, because they get quite a few claims in their mission tree, quite a few. And it does look like that them and Spain don't want to be friends no mo. I assume it has something to do with these claims down here, or I don't think they've gone to war at all since the last look. So either way, hopefully we're going to see some blobbing, and maybe some fighting to actually prevent the blobbing. There's a concept. And literally the instant that I unpaused after I paused the recording, Germany went ahead and attacked France, who was guaranteed by Spain. So probably not going to feel too good shortly, considering the fact that they're outnumbered like 2-1. Doesn't matter what their colonies do. they're going to get dumpstered. And a few decades later, yeah, as you would expect, Germany continues to march on the Ottomans as well as over here into Sweden, cutting Sweden up into a couple little pieces, even taking half of Iceland from them. So no land is spared in the Germans' search for places for Germans to live or whatever. Spain seemingly lost a couple of provinces down here in southern Italy, and Persia has been completely exiled to whatever this like Punjab kind of area. So very, very funny. We've got a based Dzungar on the map right next to a Shun who is absolutely reeling. And then we have a Russia, which is seemingly catching some hands over here by Manchu. But, you know, I have a feeling we know how things are going to go with that one. Hosokawa has almost entirely united the Japanese islands, so they'll probably form tag if I had to guess. Taiwan is a Tongning, actually. The Philippines is Spanish, as is some lands over here, but for the most part, very much a lot of self-determination going on over here in Southeast Asia still. Same with Kilwa, for now, but maybe not for long, but at the same time, maybe. Really hard to tell. The Americas are filling in for the most part, looking pretty much the same as what they were before. A couple of provinces here and there, but the most is just filling in. I don't know how Britain got these provinces over here. I think they might have stolen them in a war, but I don't really know. They are still allied to Germany, so wouldn't be too surprised if that was the case. Yo, what? What has happened to the Ottomans, dude? They are like 10 different provinces spread out over here. We've got Iraq, Syria, Georgia has popped out, Ardalan, Luristan, Persia even having a bit of a renaissance, and then Yemen down here. I don't know who Yemen came out of, but Yemen is looking pretty good. They got a new tree and King of Kings as well, so pretty cool. But yeah, the Ottomans literally just like popped like a zit. I'm happy to see it, but still, that's pretty interesting to see the border changes in like 50 years it was. Looks like Malacca is starting to get consolidated over here in Southeast Asia, but Portuguese have done, most of it. Java is where most of the population is anyways, at least in real life. So probably most of the development, yeah. Hosokawa has all but 2 provinces, one in Tsushima and one over here. And other than that, they have united Japan. So shout out Hosokawa. The border war continues to exist over here with Manchu getting split into 3 different pieces and this Jibei getting split in half. Qi getting split over here by Min. And Dzungar is still doing pretty good up here, but big bad Russia, I would not want to mess with them, nor be on their radar. In this timeline, Greenland is German, and the colonial game is officially finished with basically what we had before, only everything is kind of filled in. With about 100 years left in the game, Germany well out double the development of Spain and their colonial empire, but Great Britain a little bit below them by about 66%, with Portugal right neck and neck with them, as well as VJ only behind because of institution. We then have Min over there in China, as well as Russia and France in the 8th spot. Very surprised to see France still in the 8th, despite them getting dumpstered. Lots of development over in Africa, I guess. And definitely really surprised to see how low Russia is. But again, institution, they're 2 institutions behind. So once they take it, they will actually be up competitive with like the 3rd and 4th spot. Oh, baby, we are so back. Not only do we have the East Coast, but we also have most of Canada too. Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's probably the coolest thing we're going to see today. Aside from revolutionary Germany or revolutionary Spain or revolutionary Britain. What happened to Russia? VJ went entirely buck wild. He loved to see that. Min mostly reconnected all of the lands up in China, and Korea grew a little bit, which I always think is pretty good to see. Dzungar did okay, which I am pretty much a big fan of. And then we have Min Ob, whatever that is, and the region is just Ob, I guess. Hormuz made their way all the way up here, so I guess you can just assume that they were pretty prolific for a minute. Yemen was pushed down here, so they crossed over and took over a bunch of land over in the Horn of Africa. Pretty funny. And then there's just France. All right. South America didn't change at all. North America didn't change outside of the U.S. popping free and then conquering a bunch of land from Louisiana and the U.K. But that's about it. No surprise, the entire New World is Catholic, as is all of Europe and basically everything that was conquered. And for some reason, it looks like Russia is not Orthodox anymore. What in the world is this? They are a subject of revolutionary Germany with 0 liberty desire. This game is absolutely cracked. I love it so much. So obviously that takes them out of the great powers list. And we've got 11,000 development for revolutionary Germany with VJ as the number 2, which is so wonderful. I love to see Indian blobs do well. Spain over there in the 3rd spot with the USA in the 4th spot. You'd love to see former colonies on the great power list. Min over in China. Portugal, revolutionary Great Britain with the purple, green, white tricolor. And Korea in the 8th spot. Tall Korea. So tall that they are actually a great power. We also have an economic hegemon fully stacked for Germany. Not really a surprise. It's usually the one that the AI can manage pretty well. A mix and mash of American and English culture over here on the East Coast, as well as English and American over here in Panama. Portuguese with a little bit of Mexican Castilian sprinkled throughout the western portions of the North American continent, with Platinian dominating South America. Burgundian is the primary culture up here, with Walloon doing pretty well, pushing the Franks out of the French lens. Austrian and Lower Saxon did pretty good, but how about Baltan? It's usually just Riga's culture here, expanded and kicked out all of these other Baltic cultures, which is pretty sweet. Some weird culture conversions going on out east with this Zili culture over here in Manchu pushing all the way up into these Siberian lands. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know I certainly did. I always love these sorts of goofy mods like that. So shout out to you who made it. I'm going to have the mod linked in the description, of course. So if you want to see it, you can check it out yourself. And if you want to come and make some cool mods and have these mods like this featured on my channel, make sure you join my Discord and, let me know that you want to do it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and don't forget to subscribe so we can get that mega campaign going. And I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful day.
Special thanks to Kaiser Dar of Acadia, Sheol, Gamus23, Ian Powell, Cannon Fodder, Josh Kopczynski, Agent Rhino, Blonde Damon, Isaiah, Rover, Bubba J, Saranska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Nathan Albright, and many more.